President Trump is responding after Democrats swept yesterday's major elections. Democrats Abigail Spanberger and Mikey Sherrill won governor's races in Virginia and New Jersey. And California's also passed a new congressional map expected to give Democrats more seats in the next year's midterms. Now, President Trump is dismissing the results, saying Republicans lost because he wasn't on the ballot. Democrat and former Biden administration Homeland Security official Marsha Espinoza and former Republican National Committee spokesperson Elizabeth Pipko are here for more on that. Hi to you both. So, Marsha, Mamdani says he's going to raise taxes 2% on New Yorkers making more than $1 million a year. Raising taxes is usually not a very popular policy. Republicans are now trying to frame him as the face of the Democratic Party. Is he a liability to Democrats in the midterms?
No, I don't think so. He represents a huge energy base in New York City. He brought together, literally thousands of volunteers and younger electoral base. So I think that he is certainly part of the energy of the party right now. But make no mistake, Republicans are definitely going to try to frame him as the boogeyman here and the face of the Democratic Party. And he's just one face. He's one leader among leaders. So he is what's best for New York City right now. They voted him in. But remember, this is the same city that voted, mayors like Giuliani and other leaders like Donald Trump. So more to come. See, the Democratic Party has a huge tent.
Elizabeth, yesterday you told me you were watching the margins of victory. Republicans lost major ground in these blowout losses in Virginia and New Jersey. How concerning is that 1 year out from the midterms?
No, I wouldn't say it's super concerning, but you're 100% right. I wasn't expecting wins in New Jersey or Virginia, but I also wasn't expecting a loss to be that great. I mean, this was both states where Donald Trump lost by around 6 points, I believe, and this was doubled last night, I think even more so. So I think the reality is we have to see what it is that happened, who it is that came out to the polls. I think Republicans are very aware they have to address a very clear gender gap that's been coming out now, even more so than it did during that 2024 presidential election, and try to see if maybe these two candidates actually were not as popular because they were not Trump aligned. I don't think Winsome Sears even received a Trump endorsement. Donald Trump did not appear on stage with either one of them. And I don't know if that might be one of the reasons. And obviously Donald Trump's name, like I keep saying, is not going to be on this ballot anytime soon. So candidates have to make a strong decision about closely aligning with President Trump or trying to separate themselves like these two did, and it not working out for them.
Marsha, earlier on GMA, New Jersey Governor-elect Mikey Sherrill dodged a question on whether moderates and progressives will be fighting over the future of the Democratic Party. She says the fight is over how to deliver for the American people. So how can the party reconcile its differences?
All of these candidates were talking about pocketbook issues, affordability, what it means to live, the economy. So that's the through line there through all of these actually very diverse candidates. So I think that what we're seeing is working. The message on the economy, healthcare, Democrats are going to continue to emphasize that. And what we have seen, just to address the last comment, is that some of these Republican candidates don't want Trump on the campaign trail because he is not popular. He's not coming through with the promises that he made on the campaign trail, and some of the things that he said that they wanted, he's just gone way too far on, like immigration and other things. So I think that we've got a lot to digest from last night, but Republicans are certainly going to be rethinking their playbook as well.
Elizabeth, President Trump says the biggest factor behind the Republican loss was that he wasn't on the ballot, but he won't be on the ballot next year either. So how do Republicans need to change their strategy?
Well, look, like I said, we have to, think about what happened last night. These are two candidates that we can analyze pretty well. Both have been involved before. Winsome Sears was obviously lieutenant governor. Jack Ciattarelli, I believe, has run for the third time now. We have to see how they played this race. I don't believe they were two very strong candidates. I know a lot of Republicans thought the same thing. I disagree with my fellow panelists. I think that because they tried to, separate themselves as much as possible from President Trump, it did not actually work out for them. The proof is in the fact that they actually doubled that margin from Donald Trump's loss in 2024. I mean, the reality is, I think they were losing by 13 and 16 last night, if I'm not wrong. That is a major loss in two states that we should be, a lot closer in. We know it's an off election year. Typically, the party not in the Oval Office tends to come out more, but that should not have been a loss of that size. And Republicans are going to have to decide if they want to run as Trump candidates or not. The reality is he's the most popular Republican that we've ever had. He won that popular vote for the first time for a Republican candidate in 20 years. There's a reason for that, and I know candidates believe they can do this without him, but it doesn't seem to be the case.
Marsha Espinoza, Elizabeth Pipko, thank you both.